Afternoon, everybody. I came across this on Twitter, and Vivian Krause is well known in Alberta. I believe she's been up against Miss Notley and has been a thorn in her side, and she's got quite thorough research. If you don't know about her, follow Fair Questions. She is, she's tenacious, and she gets to the bottom of things, and it's very interesting when she points something out. Just like this. Vivian Krause tweeting, quote, Krause, sorry if I got that wrong, Vivian. She says, folks, this is pretty serious. During 2017 and 2018, I went through about 1,100 Canadian tax returns going back 15 years. I showed how our charitable system can be gamed, and I exposed one guy at Blake Braunley who says he created 650 charities. I found 130 of them. And I found a group of charities that reported $1.1 billion in total revenue. Around $600 million was tax receipted. But here's the thing. Of the $1.1 billion, only 10% was spent on actual charity. The rest was just road tripped around what looks like to me like a big shell game. I testified about this on May 7th, 2019. Here's a transcript, and it's in our commons. We're not going to get into that. And now what? Poof, gone. Public access to 15 years worth of tax returns, gone. CRA has disappeared the tax returns. Here's my detailed analysis upon which this part of my House of Commons testimony, May 7th, 2019, is based. And she's got a link to her testimony, etc. By restricting public access to only 5 years of charity tax returns, CRA has made it impossible to do this type of analysis and detect the type of scam that I did. To see what I'm referring to, go to the online database of the charities directories at the CRA. Before, charity tax returns were available going back to 2000. Now, only the most recent 5 years are available. I was worried this would happen. Still, wow. Okay, two things I wanted to say. She's got a solution, and I hope that whatever party forms government in October institutes this solution. I would be 100% behind it. And two, it's interesting when you think that the government could just turn the information off. I've been collecting, and I have the CSV files of hundreds of years of climate data, right? And not back hundreds of years, 100 years, multiple locations. So hundreds of years, get it? Of climate data that I freely got a lot from Canada's like StatsCan websites, and I've linked that before. They could just turn them off if I find something they don't like, which, I mean, I have, and I did, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do. And here's Miss Krause's, sorry, keep getting that wrong. I'm not meaning to get your name wrong. Her solution is this. Hi, Oliver. He was asked, Oliver says, we need more tax auditors. And she says, hi, Oliver, thanks for weighing in. Actually, I respectfully disagree that what we need is necessarily more auditors. Instead, what I think would be more helpful to make the charitable system more robust to fraud and corruption is a searchable online database. Sunlight. Yeah, it's the best disinfectant, is it not? And as I said, I would be 100% behind it. Let's put the whole history of charitable tax returns on the CRA website. Let's bring all the sunlight, transparency 100%, and not the false transparency that Trudeau promised and did not deliver upon. CBC, in the next story, is reporting, quote, an insult. Families of dead soldiers offended at being left out of low-key Afghanistan memorial event. DND, Department of National Defense, says it wanted, quote, a humble internal event to ensure proper reverence. A number of families who lost loved ones in Afghanistan say they feel betrayed by a decision made by bureaucrats at the Department of National Defense to privately dedicate a memorial last week containing the Kandahar battlefield cenotaph. The marble and granite cenotaph structure, which stood outside the Canadian Task Force headquarters through the war, was a focal point for soldiers who had lost comrades and families when they came on military-sponsored visits. A special building built behind the security cordon in the new DND headquarters in Canada in Western Ottawa was opened and dedicated on May 13 in a private ceremony. News of the dedication ceremony only became public in a social media post 3 days afterwards. Families were not invited and were only informed of the event by letter. Quote, I wasn't given the opportunity to go to that event, but none of us were, said Ann Snyder. Her son, Captain Jonathan Snyder, a Star of Military Valor recipient, died in 2008. Quote, it's kind of an insult. Errol Crushley, whose son petty officer, I think, William Crushley, was killed in 2006, described how his department handled the situation as shoddy and said he made the trip to Ottawa from his southern Ontario home had he been invited. It seems like we're an embarrassment to them, said Crushley. DND's social media post last week said the memorial would not be open to the public, but families of slain soldiers could book appointments to see it when they're in Ottawa. The Defense Department took half a step back from that approach on Tuesday, saying it was looking to accommodate special visits by public on appropriate occasions. DND still insists it's not possible to open the memorial up to the public completely. Quote, "When I hear stupid things like that, yeah, I get upset pretty easily," said Reynold Boothiller. He lost his son, Trooper Jack Boothiller, to a roadside bomb in 2009. If they can organize tours of the White House, don't tell me they can't organize something there. The cenotaph, portions of which were displayed on Parliament Hill 6 years ago and subsequently toured the country, include 192 black granite plates etched with the photographs of Canadian soldiers and civilians killed during the decades-long conflict, as well as those of Americans who died under Canadian command in Kandahar. A proposal by the previous Conservative government to create a lasting public memorial to Afghanistan remains mired in bureaucratic disagreements among 4 different departments and agencies. In light of that, Boothiller said, "It's more important than ever for Canadian civilians to have a specific place to remember the soldiers who fought in the Afghan war." Quote, "They were willing to die for this country," said Boothiller. "So why can't the general public go and see their faces and remember those guys? You know, for me, Remembrance Day is not once a year." Jean-Marc Doucet, sorry if I've got that wrong, a National Defense Officer and Acting Director of Transformation at the department's Ottawa headquarters, told CBC News last summer that the initial plan was to allow the general public to visit the memorial, but, quote, "the process, procedures, and guidelines are still being worked on." DND was asked why the decision was made to hold the cenotaph dedication in private. The department pondered in an email, quote, "Given the solemnity of the memorial, and to ensure the dignified dedication service, a quiet, limited service was held in honor of those we have lost," said the statement. The decision to hold a humble internal event was made by senior leadership to ensure proper reverence. The department said it waited to post news of the event on social media in order to ensure correspondence with the families of our fallen had sufficient time to be delivered. Crushley said he never received his letter. I scroll down. Crushley said memorializing the war and the sacrifices that were part of it clearly hasn't been a priority for the Liberal government. Quote, "They've let a lot of things with the military slip through the cracks with all the stuff they promised, including to veterans," he said. And I would agree with that. And here's another one. "Actually, this federal government has raised taxes on the middle class." This is an opinion piece, but it is a true opinion piece, meaning the facts back it up. Here we go. This week, the Trudeau government announced that it will soon increase the Canada Child Benefit, a tax-free monthly payment to eligible families. It's now clear the government has abandoned its promise to provide tax relief to middle-class families, and it continues to confuse government transfer with taxes, something that should worry all Canadians. Since taking office in 2015, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has repeatedly claimed to have reduced taxes for the middle class, pointing to the second lowest personal income tax rate, which the government reduced to 20.5% from 22%. But crucially, the government also simultaneously eliminated several tax credits, including the Children's Fitness Tax Credit, the Public Transit Tax Credit, and the Income Splitting Tax Credit for couples with young children. Consequently, the elimination of these tax credits resulted in higher personal income taxes. In fact, when you compare the value of Mr. Trudeau's tax rate reduction with the loss of tax credits, 81% of middle-class families with household incomes between $77,000 and $107,000 per year. So if you and your partner make $40,000 or more, and I'm just rounding here, so roughly $40,000 or more, 38 and some change, you are paying more now than you were under Stephen Harper in taxes. So in other words, slightly more than 4 out of 5 middle-class families now face a higher tax burden. Is that unbelievable? That's believable to me because Justin Trudeau is bad at his job. He's bad. He is a bad prime minister. I've shown this clip, and this is the last story for today. I'm not going to show it again because, it's like listening to nails on a chalkboard, right? It gives you like those heebie-jeebies, right? Ugh. So I'm not going to play the clip. But I am going to tell you, this is concerning, and this is very, very, very concerning. And, well, maybe we'll listen to the last 5 seconds of the clip where he talks about the financial repercussions, and he growls into the microphone, and it's awful. Justin Trudeau says, quote, social media platforms must be held accountable for the hate speech and disinformation we see online. And if they don't step up, there will be consequences. We launched Canada's new digital charter today to guide our decisions. Learn more about it here. And we're going to learn more about it after we listen to the last 5 seconds. I'm sorry. I know I'm sorry. This is him threatening financial, meaningful consequences. Hold on. We'll listen to 10 seconds. Ugh. Okay, maybe not. Forget it. We're not listening to any of it because it's not working. So this is Canada's digital charter, Trust in a Digital World. And what I wanted to highlight is the 8, 9, and 10. It says number 8 is strong democracy. The government of Canada will defend freedom of expression and protect against online threats and disinformation designed to undermine the integrity of elections and democratic institutions. 9, free from hate and violent extremism. Canadians can expect that digital platforms will not foster or disseminate hate, violence, violent extremism, or criminal content. And 10, strong enforcement and real accountability. There will be clear, meaningful penalties for violations of the laws and regulations that support these principles. The Trudeau government is trying to meaningfully police the internet. They're trying to police words as violence. Words are not violence. They're not. And it is incredibly concerning to see the Liberal government take this turn because, I mean, the march towards draconian, free speech laws, and we're there. We're on the cusp right now. They're talking about it and framing it in the view of, we need to do this for your safety, citizen. We need to protect you from these dangerous ideas, these science deniers, these et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They've weaponized these words and they've vilified conservatives, anybody who doesn't agree with the lefty doctrine. It is very, very concerning. I'm very calm here, but like, this is worrisome, guys. This is very, very concerning, right? Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the People's Party of Canada. Maxime Bernier has said that he will repeal all of these draconian speech laws that Justin Trudeau is instituting. And I mean, that's a good start. We can go further. We can enshrine free speech in law. And maybe that's what the Charter of Rights should have done. Maybe, well, who knows? Who knows what can be done? But something needs to be done because this is out of control. Thanks for watching, everybody. Check out the peoplespartyofcanada.ca and have a wonderful, wonderful day.